Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Coffee here, and today we're back with a Wip Chat. Wip stands for work in progress, so get out whatever that is for you. Work along with me as I tell you some stories from the coffee house shenanigans. Now, I hope everyone had a wonderful, safe weekend. This weekend was pretty cold for a lot of us. For us, it's not anything different, but for everybody else, I'm sure you're like freezing, and for that, I hope you're staying warm. We, of course, did some inside activities this weekend because, going outside is a no-no right now. Going outside is a no. Right now, we have some pretty strong winds, and I kind of feel, right? Tell me if you agree with this. I kind of feel that with winter, it wouldn't be so bad without the wind. If it was just snow on the ground, okay, yeah, it'd be cold, but with the wind tends to make it worse. And so anytime there's wind, I'm like, no, bunker down. We're not leaving. No, you don't need to go to the store. We'll eat what's in the house. We're not going out there. So Friday when Mr. Coffee got home, of course, he did go into work. If you missed the last Wip Chat, Mr. Coffee lost his grandfather last week, and so he's doing okay. He's doing okay. Mr. Coffee is very much a guy in that sense. He is internalizing everything. He has talked to me about it a little bit, but I can tell he's still kind of sad about it. And that's okay. When you lose someone in your life like that, you're going to be sad. It's a normal emotion to be sad. So I haven't been pressing him on it. I've just been letting him do his thing. And he's kind of been like just hanging with the kids and doing his thing. So I just kind of let him do his thing. And then Friday night, he came home and he was just, you ever been so stressed out that you just pass out? That's essentially what happened. So he comes home and he says hi to the kids, and we sit the kids down and explain to them, exactly what happened. Because he didn't know how to go about it with the kids. And I'm like, it's not like they've never experienced this before. They've never been to a funeral, but they have experienced death, as I've had a couple of deaths in my family since I've started the channel and stuff. And so I'm like, they know about death. And usually Maggie will ask a question or two, but with it being her dad, she didn't want to press too much, I guess. So they just sat intently and listened. And I warned them when they got home to try to be on your best behavior today, because Daddy's just not feeling it. And I had to stream Friday night over on Twitch, so I was like, please be on your best behavior. And they were. So me and Maggie had dinner because Mr. Coffee and Orion fell asleep. So Mr. Coffee got home. He explained to the kids, about what happened. We had a few moments with the kids and then a few moments by ourselves where we just kind of sat and talked about, what happened and everything. And he's unable to attend like the funeral or anything because his grandfather lived in Florida. And so going to Florida for that is not something that he was, I don't know if it's just that he didn't want to face it or whatnot, but he didn't want to go. And so, I didn't press him on going or anything, and we do have money saved up that he could have went, but he decided, he'd rather just stay home with the kids. Plus, with the current, drops everywhere in temperature and everything, I'm like, you would have actually been going to a warm place. What do you mean? Florida, I think Florida is just out here watching everybody else freeze to death, because I think Florida is, one of the only places that isn't frigidly cold right now. Especially where his grandfather lived, which is at, the bottom of Florida. I don't know the town or anything, but I was like, you would have been in one of those places that's watching the rest of the U.S. just freeze to death. But, he's doing okay. He's doing okay. It just, it's going to take him a little bit because like I said, he did have a nice relationship with his grandfather. So, we dealt with that. Well, then he fell asleep and Orion fell asleep. So I made dinner, and I made this angry mac and cheese thing, where it was mac and cheese with cut up Polish sausage in it. It was so good. It was so good. So if you ever got Hamburger Helper, right? Get Hamburger Helper and some Polish sausage and some sriracha sauce, and you spice it up however you want to spice it up. I added a little bit of Italian seasoning and stuff to it. And oh my God, was it freaking delicious. So me and Maggie kind of had dinner together, and I don't typically cook on Friday. Fridays we usually order out, but we decided not to on this Friday because we were getting some pretty gnarly like winds and snow, and the roads right now where we live are pretty much all but ice. So it's people that have driven on the roads that pack the snow down, and of course it heating up from the hot tires and then cooling down because of the wind and stuff made it where it's pretty much a sheet of ice. It's like ice. You could literally take out ice skates, and we have a couple of neighbors that have been doing it. You can put on ice skates and skate around because there's just so much ice on the roads. So we decided, you know what, we're just going to have dinner together because I don't want to have somebody else risk their life to bring us dinner. So why don't I'll just cook. Now, cooking is hard on Fridays because Fridays I'm usually super busy. I have my Patreon vlog to put up. I put that up every Friday on Patreon. Even if I don't do videos on YouTube, I still have a Patreon vlog every week. And that's about an hour or so long. So a little short plug there. If you haven't joined Patreon, you get a little bit of behind the scenes with Miss Coffee. You're going to be probably getting a little bit more behind the scenes with Miss Coffee, and I'll tell you why here in a little bit. But yeah, you get some behind the scenes with Miss Coffee. You get my real feelings on stuff. I speak freely and often. It's kind of like another Wip Chat, except for I'm moving around. But they're going to be framed a little bit differently from this point forward because I don't have to go pick up the kids from school anymore. And again, we're going to talk about that in a minute. So me and Maggie had dinner together, and it was really nice to have that alone time with Maggie because it's not something we do at all pretty much too often. Like, we don't do like alone time with each kid. We will every once in a while if it's requested. Like if the particular kid comes to us and goes, can we do something together, just you and I? Well, of course we'll do it, but it's not something that we, you know, search out for and we're like, okay, on this specific day, Daddy's going to do something with Orion and Mommy will do something with Maggie. No, we just let them do their thing because just as much as the weekend is time off for Mr. Coffee, I'd say Mr. Coffee because I'm not off on the weekends. I still stream on the weekends. But just as much as it's time off for Mr. Coffee, it's not so much time off for me, but it's also time off for the kids. Like, they're off of school. They've been sitting in rooms all day, like, learning and everything else, and that can be exhausting. So I don't typically try to plan too much unless they want to do something. Like, tomorrow we're going to go take Orion for his 6-month haircut. It seems like every 6 months this kid decides he wants a haircut, and I'm like, you know what? That's fine. That is perfectly fine. The thing is, though, he's going to have to put his hat on now, and he doesn't like the fact that he has to wear a hat. But he's getting to that teenage stage where he doesn't wear a jacket. What the hell is up with teenagers and jackets? Can somebody please explain this? Look, I'm new to this. I have a teenager, but she doesn't live here, so I thought I would skip over that part of kids turning into teens, and then Orion was like, hold my beer. Or in his case, hold my juice cup. So, Minna, which is the oldest kid, Minna is 17, but I got all the best parts of those teenage years because she didn't like go through that I hate my mom stage. She went through that I hate my dad stage because she lives with her dad, and then she would call me for like, you know, Mommy, I want to talk, I want to have girl time, and I'm like, okay. So number 12. So when it comes to Orion, this is all new to me, and so like going back when. What was that? Oh, it's Daisy back here on the window. So, going back. So, Friday night, Maggie and I have dinner together. And we're sitting there. And I'm playing a game with her. Because I've noticed that Maggie has stopped eating. Not completely. But for the most part, she isn't eating like her dinner and stuff. And I at first, I assumed it was because of her teeth. And then we got confirmation that, yeah, eating hurts her because her tooth. And she had a loose tooth. And she just didn't want to tell anybody because she doesn't like the idea of having her teeth pulled. And I'm like, but Maggie, if it gives you some relief from all this pain you've been in, wouldn't you want, you know, your tooth to not hurt? And she goes, yeah, but I also don't want to deal with the pain of you taking it out. And I was like, I feel you. I'm not even mad about it. I feel you. So she had a loose tooth that she didn't want to tell us about. And we don't go in and check the kids' teeth like they're alligators or something. we're not checking their teeth every day to see if they have any loose teeth. Usually your child will tell you if they have a loose tooth, unless they're in this case where Maggie's just like, nah, you don't need to know. It's on a need to know basis and you don't need to know. So I was like, oh, okay. And I kept playing. So I decided I was going to be smart about this and I was going to play a game with her. And I was like, okay, so now every time, because Maggie has this thing that she likes to do at the dinner table, she likes to play until everybody leaves, and then she throws her food away, and then nobody sees her do it because everybody's already left. Usually Orion will sit with her to try to make her eat her food. It doesn't work. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay. I'm sitting there, and every time she would go to talk, I would act like I couldn't hear her until she took a bite of food. And then as soon as she took a bite of food, I was like, oh, were you saying something? And she's like, Mom. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. You got to eat for me to be able to hear you. Guess who ate all their food? And it worked. And it worked. So I was like, heck yeah, this is a game now. So now, from now on, I told Mr. Coffee, you know, when you're eating dinner with Maggie, if she chooses not to eat her food, just act like you can't hear her. Well, then we did it again, I want to say yesterday, when we were eating dinner. We sat down, Mr. Coffee cooked. Mr. Coffee cooked, and we sat down for dinner, and every time she would try to talk, I would act like I couldn't hear her. And I'm like, what? And then Mr. Coffee and Orion caught on to what exactly I was doing, and then they started doing it. And she's like, why is it that nobody can hear me unless I eat something? And I'm like, I don't know. It's weird how that works. And she's like, it's like you're all gone deaf. I'm like, that could be it. She goes, why does it only happen when we eat dinner? I don't know. Just weird things happen at the dinner table. And she's like, yeah, because this is weird. And I'm like, yeah, it is weird, isn't it? But it got you to eat, though. Anyways, so I got to have my little special dinner with Maggie. We had a lot of fun. We talked and had some alone time, and which was weird because she was well behaved the rest of the weekend. And I was like, again, this whole spending time with Maggie thing has been working out gloriously. Now, that's the thing, too, is I feel bad if I don't spend every waking moment with them. But then I also feel bad because I do have to work, and I do like time to myself to be able to do things that I like to do, since a lot of the times when I'm doing things that other people want me to do and not so much what I want to do. And so it feels nice to be able to do stuff that I want to do every once in a while. But I also need to remember that I'm not a machine. I'm not a machine. And I need that time to myself every once in a while to do the things that I like to do. Like if I want to sit around and do art all day, then why shouldn't I be able to sit around and do art all day? Like if all my other responsibilities are taken care of, I should be able to sit around and do whatever it is that I feel like doing that day, not so much what everybody thinks or assumes I should be doing all day. Because I can tell y'all right now, which is probably going to break some hearts here, but when I'm off camera, I don't diamond paint. I stopped diamond painting off camera years ago. And that's just because it had taken over my life to the point where I was literally neglecting my family. And no craft out there is ever more important than your family. If you like your family. If you don't like your family, then craft away. But for me, I was spending way too much time. And that's where the whole argument came in with Mr. Coffee. It wasn't really an argument. But that's where the whole thing came in with Mr. Coffee, was that when we first moved here, I would spend my entire day back here. Like, literally. We would have dinner together. I would see the kids when they got out of school, or when they came to eat lunch or something. And then as soon as that was over, I was right back here diamond painting away, and my family would be up there like playing games or watching something or doing something, and nope. I was sitting right back here. And a lot of you are going to go, well, why didn't you just take your diamond painting up there? Because then when I did start taking my diamond paintings up there, the family was like, why is it that you're always diamond painting and you can't do anything else? And I'm like, because people expect me to diamond paint and have this done in a good amount of time and then start new ones. And then I realized at that moment, after having that talk with my family, that I was literally spending my entire days diamond painting. And that's not what I wanted to do. And where I enjoy the craft, it's not something I want to do every day. There are plenty of days where I'm like, I don't think I'm cut out for this anymore. I don't want to do it. And then there's other days where I'm like, you know what? I could sit down and diamond paint for a little bit. And so that's where like me wanting to change things up comes into play, because where I do enjoy the craft, it's not my entire life. It's no longer one of those things where I feel like I have to get the latest, greatest when it comes out at all times, or you know, I'm not going to enjoy my diamond painting experience. I have to have this large stash of diamond paintings, or I'm not going to be like the absolute best crafter on YouTube. I don't want to be the best crafter on YouTube anymore. I just want to be a crafter. I just want to work on what I want to work on when I want to work on it and be happy doing it. I don't want to sit miserable trying to figure out how to do things because I don't want to do them. I just want to do what makes me happy. And so like right now, I was sitting in the living room and I was like, I actually kind of feel like diamond painting. The thing is, I think the only reason why I feel like diamond painting right now is because this is my own artwork and I want to see it finished. And I'm sure somebody out there will have it finished. But I really want to see it come to life. Like I want to be the one that brings this kit to life, because I drew this and it's still baffling to me that the work that I put in to draw this is now being used as a craft. So when I first started doing art, my only goal was to give back to the community that gave me so much. It was a dream I've always had to learn how to draw, and I wanted to give back to the community that made me who I am. Because of course, without you guys, Miss Coffee wouldn't exist. So I wanted to give back to you guys. So I started talking to some of these diamond painting companies and asking them like what it would take for me to have artwork with them. And Diamond Art Club did the favor of releasing my very first one, because they knew that that was a dream of mine, to have my very first kit with them. And then the folks over at Enablers Outpost continuing on that dream by allowing me to, you know, release kits with them. Now, my artwork isn't as flushed as, say, a Mandy Manzano or a JoJo's Arts, but I'm super proud of what I produce. Like, and what isn't turned into diamond paintings is turned into release papers for you guys from Crafts with Crashly. So I'm living a dream that I never thought would be possible. The social media thing, that just kind of happened. But being able to do art and then sharing that with you guys, and you guys being able to have part of my artwork, and you get that, all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into making that piece, because I can tell you right now, doing art isn't as easy as I thought it was. And I just assumed, like, I had like the worst like perception of art and how it had to be perfect. Line work has to be perfect, and this has to be perfect, and your measurements have to line up, and you just, everything has to be perfect, when in reality, art is subjective. Art is subjective, and it doesn't all have to be 100% immaculately perfect. So, when I learned to stop trying to be like everybody else and started just doing what I like to do and being myself, that's when I was at my happiest. And so now that you guys can enjoy that as a diamond painting or release papers, it makes me really happy. It makes me really happy. So I'm happy to be able to do these collaborations with like Enablers Outposts and stuff. And I can already kind of see what's going to happen here. It's going to turn into me diamond painting as much as I used to is going to fade away. Just because I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. And I can already feel it falling to the wayside, because the moment, I can't tell you how many times I've stopped a Wip Chat to go work on a piece that I got an idea of while I sat here. I don't want to stop my Wip Chats though. And I'm not going to stop my Patreon or anything, or my channel. It's just going to take maybe a different direction. And where I know a lot of people came for that other content, I'm going to start maybe possibly worrying about like focusing on doing stuff that's, you know, craft related, but other things. Like I have a really exciting something coming in. I have a couple of exciting somethings coming in that really aren't necessarily craft related, but might help. I don't want to say what they are just until they get here, but one of them is essentially going to be kind of like a, not like a workout with me, but like a, let's get active. As diamond painters, we sit for a long period of time, and it is very unhealthy to sit for such a long time. And as someone who never takes care of themselves, I know this to be true. So I want to start doing like where we like I'll go for a walk and take you guys with me, but I'm not leaving my house. And if you don't understand the concept that I'm talking about from there, then you'll figure it out here in like a couple of weeks. But I want to get more active, and with the kids being in school all day and me just sitting here at the house, we have cold temperatures 8 months out of the year, and I'm not going out there unless I absolutely have to. So, Mr. Coffee found a different way for me to get active. And so I want to implement that into the channel where you guys can get active in craft with Miss Coffee. But we'll see how that goes once the item gets here. This was something that he had ordered at Christmas time, but it was backlogged, and it's finally going to ship this week. So we're super excited. But anyways, back to what I was saying. So we had Friday night live stream over on Twitch. It was a lot of fun. I think we diamond painted, Friday. And then Saturday morning came. I woke up, I got a shower, because for some reason, Friday into Saturday morning, when I go to bed, I wake up feeling so, like, gross. I don't know what it is. I just feel slimy. And so I typically will wake up immediately and get in the shower instead of piddling around first before I get in. No, I immediately wake up and go right for the shower. And Mr. Coffee's like, you know, are you sweating in your sleep or something maybe? And I'm like, maybe. But I just feel like, I don't know why it only really happens on Fridays. Any other day of the week when I get up, I'm like, am I taking a shower now or later? We'll see how the day goes. And I just kind of piddle around until I decide to take a shower. But on Saturdays, I typically get straight out of bed and go right into the shower. Like, I just fall right into the shower. So I got a shower. I come out of my room, and Maggie's standing there. She's like, good morning, Mommy. And I'm like, good morning, Maggie. I'm like, we're going to weatherproof your room today. Now, we have to do a couple of different types of weatherproofing here. So there is summer weatherproofing, where we have to put... sometimes we'll put foil or whatever in the windows, or not summer, sorry, winter. So we'll put like foil in the windows to kind of keep some of the heat in and keep the drafts out. Our house is not properly, like, the windows aren't properly sealed. And you can tell by putting your hand close to the window. Even me sitting where I'm at, there's a window right there, and I can feel a little bit of a breeze coming in. And you shouldn't feel that. That's not normal. So our windows aren't properly sealed here, and you would think for as much as this place costs that they would be properly sealed, but no. So we have like some boards and stuff that we put in the windows during the winter to keep some of the drafts out, depending on how bad it is. And so we went through and we put up plastic. So there's this plastic shrink wrap that you can get from Walmart. I don't know the name of it. Just search up window sealer or plastic window coverings, and it'll pop up. So we put this on the windows in the winter, especially when we know the wind is going to be bad, because again, winter without wind is not bad. It's the wind that kills it. So I'm like, so we went and put up the coverings for the windows in the kids' room, in the spare room, and our windows. We put it on our windows 2 years ago and never took it off. We don't really look out the window in our bedroom. And we have the windows in our bedroom that it's like three tall windows. And then there's like a window, is it 3 windows together? I think it's 3 windows together. So it's 3 long windows together. And it sucks because I kind of wish it was like the spare bedroom. So the spare bedroom, which would have been Minna's room, has a lip on the window. So it's like, kind of gives like a loft feel. Or, what do they call it when you have the lip on the window? It's like a, you know what I mean. But it's a really cool window. And, so we sealed up the windows upstairs that weren't sealed. We sealed up the windows downstairs. We will even go as far as to sealing up the sliding glass door because, again, it gets really cold here. And with the wind, we're talking about negatives. Like on Saturday, we got down to the real feel, which we go by the real feel. We don't necessarily go by what the actual temperature is. We go by the real feel. So our real feel Saturday night was -60. Okay. And so we were just like, yeah, nope, seal it up. Seal it up. And then what'll happen is they will stay sealed until about, I want to say June-ish. If we are guaranteed that we're not going to get snow for the rest of the spring, we'll seal it up until about like May. But if we think that there's an inkling chance of snow, which you can kind of tell depending on how cold the weather gets for spring, if there's an inkling of a chance that there's going to be snow, that those ceilings will stay on until like June-ish, which makes the house kind of stuffy, and it sucks, but it's cold outside. So you know it's worse than being stuffy, being cold. So I'd rather it be a little bit stuffy and run some air purifiers than to sit here in a house that's all stuffy. So we sealed off the kids' rooms and the windows down, stuff downstairs. And then I was like, okay, I have to get ready for stream. I streamed on Saturday, and then after stream, or before stream ended, Maggie was talking about how her tooth was bothering her. Like, it was really bothering her. She goes, it feels like my face is vibrating. And I was like, your face is vibrating? What the world? And Mr. Coffee was like, she has a tooth that needs to be pulled. Didn't you say that was, you know, part of her whatever? And remember, Maggie has teeth that need to be pulled. And that alone is going to cost us about $2 to $3 grand. Okay? Because remember, it's $8 grand for the braces and the teeth removal and the implant of the metal device that's going to correct her fang. It's about $8 grand for all of that. We're hoping that it will correct itself so that we're not having to pay so much. But of course, we're prepared to pay whatever it's going to take for her to be able to eat comfortably and not have to worry about tooth pain. And this is not at fault of her own or anything. This is a condition she got from Mr. Coffee. It's kind of a hereditary condition where her teeth go bad from the inside out instead of the outside in. So imagine just your tooth is bothering you from the inside, and there's not any amount of Oragel or anything that's going to relieve it. The only relief is having it removed, which is what we've been waiting for. I've called the dentist's office now 4 times, asking them what's taking this other doctor so long to review her x-rays so that we can kind of get a move on this, because I know what's going to happen. They're going to try to do all this right before we have to leave to go see Minna in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, I don't want those 2 items to happen together, because I don't know how the plane ride is going to affect her mouth after having all the surgery and stuff. And so I'm like, I really don't want these 2 items to happen together. So I'm trying to have Maggie's surgery happen sooner than later, because it's almost going to be like it's going to be worse than having a teething baby, because Maggie is 11 and she doesn't like being in pain, which who does? So I told Mr. Coffee, yes, she has a tooth that's ready to come out. I'm not sure if it's one of the bad ones. And she's like, no, it's not. It's the tooth behind it that's bad. It's this one that's bothering me. So we take a look at her x-rays, because we got a picture. Like, I took a picture of it from the dentist office when they did x-rays. They didn't do like the 360 x-ray, I guess it is. I kept calling it a 3D x-ray. It's a 360 x-ray. So one machine goes around the front of her face. That's the one I got a picture of. The other machine ran around the entire perimeter of her head. And that gives them kind of like a 3D, 360 look of where and how these teeth are coming in and what is happening with them. But Maggie was pretty much in tears when she was telling me about her tooth hurting, which this isn't a new occurrence. It happens at least once or twice a week, where it gets to the point where it's unbearable, and I just sit and hold her until she feels better. We give her Motrin, and that seems within like 10-15 minutes, it seems to like she seems to like knock out. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, she has a tooth that needs to be pulled. And he's like, well, is she going to let us pull it? And I'm like, she doesn't have a choice. It needs to come out. Now, we weren't sure if this was one of the bad teeth or not. I was assuming that it was. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, Maggie, we got to let daddy pull the tooth. And this is before I even got off live. I was like, we got to let daddy pull the tooth. And she's like, no, thank you. And she just walks away. And I'm like, okay. So I finish up live. I get off live. We raid out to another creative. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I got to be right back because I got to go pull this tooth. Now, mommy does not pull teeth. I think that is the most disgusting thing on the planet. I am any other thing. Give me diarrhea. Give me vomit. Give me anything. Don't give me pulling teeth. I can't do it. I know it sounds stupid, right? I know exactly how stupid it sounds. I cannot stand the thing of pulling teeth. Nope. 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 No. Not. We're not doing that. No. So, Mr. Coffee was like, okay, let's see this tooth. Now, most people will sit in a chair or put the string on their child's tooth and close the door or use a drone and make it all exciting for them. No, we treat Maggie infant style. So Mr. Coffee's like, she's not going to let us pull it. I'm like, okay, well, either Maggie, we do this the easy way or the hard way. And she goes, the hard way. And I was like, okie dokie. So I run upstairs and we got a blanket that she got from Myasia. It's a Naruto blanket. It's her favorite thing right now. And I grab the blanket and I go, come here. And she's like, Mom, I said the hard way. And I was like, God dang it. This child literally said, I said the hard way and took off. And I was like, dang it. So I get up and I start chasing her. Now, we're in the house. There's only so much places that she can go, okay? It's not like she can go run outside or something and she can run down the street. We're in the house. Where are you going? Like, I can go everywhere you can go in the house. So I chase her up the stairs to her bedroom. Now take it. Look, listen, Miss Coffee is 200 pounds, okay? You got to be something to do something in this house, okay? I am 200 pounds. I have really bad asthma. This child had me running upstairs. I get to the top of the stairs and I'm like, and Mr. Coffee's like, are you okay? I'm fine, just gotta get it. And he's like, you don't sound okay. I'm fine, just get the child. So he ran up behind me. He's more athletic than I am. So he runs up behind me and he's like, we got her. Okay, I'm gonna go sit down now. And I'm like coming downstairs and Orion's like, is Darth Vader here? Leave me alone, Orion. I'm not talking to you. And I come back down the stairs and he's like, here's your inhaler. Thanks. I can't do stairs, y'all. I can't. The sad part is I can go jog with the dogs. I cannot go up and down the stairs. Something about up and down the stairs kills my asthma. And my asthma's like, nope. Hi, puppy. Hey, there's a daisy over here. She must have heard me breathing funny and was like checking on me. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. All right, I got this drill. Hi, hello. You can probably hear her like over here, like breathing hard. Looks like she wants to play. They went outside for a very short time this morning. It was really cold. And I was like, yeah, no, we're not staying out here for a long period of time. And I'm already having issues with them not wanting to wear their boots. Well, Killian not wanting to wear his boots. So I'm like, yeah, we're not, because I don't want to hurt their paw pads. And I even tried putting like some of Mr. Coffee's old socks over the boots. And yeah, no, Killian does not care. He's not wearing the boots. So I don't like keeping them outside for too long. But yeah, so we grab Maggie. I put the blanket on the floor. And like I said, we do this infant style. So essentially we make her a blanket burrito, aka we swaddle her tight. We swaddle her tight in the blanket so she can't move her arms. And her arms are down to her side. We swaddle her up in the blanket. And of course, at this point, she thinks it's a game. So she's like laughing and giggling because she done forgot why exactly we're doing this. And it's happy fun time. So she just thinks we're playing. And then the realization comes over her when her dad comes up to her with a napkin and she starts frantically flailing around. Now that means that I have to hold her since I don't pull the teeth. So I spider monkey around her. So I have her arms and her chest with my arms and then my legs around her waist and I'm like, grab it. And so Mr. Coffee goes in, he tries to grab it and she keeps moving her head and trying to bite him and she's like flailing all over the place and she's like, I said the hard way. I said the hard way. And I'm like, we heard you the first time. And so Orion comes down. He goes, oh, is this beat up Maggie time? And I'm like, no. He's like, what are y'all doing? And Mr. Coffee is like, we're trying to get her freaking tooth out. And he plucks her, like, right as she went to go, like, kind of make a face, I guess. He plucks her right where the tooth was, and the tooth fell out. And he's like, oh, well, damn. I guess that really was ready to come out. She spits it out, and she's like, why did you hit me in the mouth? Oh, that hurt. And he's like, I didn't even hit you. I plucked your face. But the tooth came out. And she's like, I know, but it's my tooth, and I didn't want it to come out. And I'm like, we could tell. We could tell. Soon enough, as soon as that tooth came out, though, and she finally calmed down, she goes, Mom, my mouth doesn't hurt anymore. And I was like, what? And she's like, my mouth doesn't hurt. The thing was, when Mr. Coffee retrieved the tooth, right, the tooth literally crumbled in his hand. And he's like, what the hell? The inside of the tooth was dark. And that's what they were showing us on the x-ray the first time she had it done, because, and that's why they opted for the 3D x-ray, was because the teeth were going bad from the inside. And so Mr. Coffee wasn't at that appointment. And so he didn't get to see what I saw. Like, he saw the x-ray. He didn't see, like, the fact that they are saying that it's dark on the inside. Well, the tooth was going bad from the inside, so it pretty much had crumbled because it was just ready to be done. It was well past its expiration date. Now, Maggie now has 6 baby teeth that should be out, that are hopefully going to be coming out soon. She has another loose tooth right now. The problem is they would get loose, and then it almost is as if they would tighten back up into her jaw. So, like, when she doesn't let us pull them when they get loose, it's like they go, oh, okay, you don't want to pull us? We're just going to stay in here then. So, I told her when that next tooth gets wiggly that she needs to tell us so we can take it out. And she goes, okay, I like playing this game. I'm glad one of us likes playing this game because Mommy about died. So, she had her tooth taken out, and it turns out that it was one of the bad teeth. It immediately alleviated pain for her. Now, she has another bad tooth just like that one on the opposite side, but it's not wiggly. It is a baby tooth, and this should tell you how ready that tooth was to come out. The new tooth underneath it was already halfway out. So essentially what it was doing was the new tooth was burrowing into the baby tooth, trying to push it out like it's supposed to, and that baby tooth just would not let go. And then so finally we got the tooth out, and she said she immediately felt relief and went in and ate fried pork chop from a couple of days ago. And she had some noodles and a sandwich. You could tell she was hungry. And I was like, okay, we at least know that it's her teeth that's causing her. Like, we're guaranteed knowing that it's her teeth that's causing her all this pain. So we're hoping that by the time this dentist finally gets his act together and checks her records and everything, that they'll be like, oh, we're going to want to pull those baby teeth. No, you don't have to now. You waited so long, they fell out. Like, that's what we're hoping for, because that's going to save us probably a good $3 to $4 grand on her procedure. So, right now, she has another wiggly tooth, and the pain that she was feeling was a deferred pain. So, tooth pain can defer to other places and make you think it's coming from other places. So, which also, did you know bad tooth can cause a heart attack? I didn't know that. I was reading a brochure. Anyways, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is great. Well, now we got this tooth out. How do we make the other tooth wiggly to get it out? And Mr. Coffee's like, unfortunately, we're just going to have to wait for it. He goes, the problem is if it's as bad as this one, that's why she was going through so much pain when she would bite down, because essentially that baby tooth was pushing back up on that other tooth that was ready to come out. So that's where all the pain was coming from. This poor girl has been through it, y'all. So I'm happy that she's, you know, gotten some relief. I'm happy she got some relief and that she can now eat properly again. I'm mad that she made me do it the hard way, but at least it got done. So she hasn't had any more problems eating, and she ate perfectly fine the rest of the weekend, which was great. But let's talk about Orion real quick. And again, y'all are going to have to excuse all the teenager stories because I feel like I'm losing my ever-loving mind. So, Orion. And I was telling some of my mods about this, and it partially freaked me out, and the other part of me is like, is my son on drugs? Is my son on drugs? oh, jeez. So, remember Friday I told you that Mr. Coffee and Orion fell asleep, right? So, I'm sitting there, and after stream, I told Mr. Coffee, because Mr. Coffee had woken up at some point, and I told Mr. Coffee that nobody had seen or heard from Orion all day. Like, he literally went upstairs after school, and nobody has heard a peep out of him for the rest of the day. Minus when Maggie went up and confirmed that he was actually asleep. And so Mr. Coffee's like, well, I'll go check on him. And I was like, oh, okay. He goes upstairs to go check on him. The next thing I know, I'm like sitting here, like talking to my mod team about something. And I hear boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, what the f is that? So I go running. Again, with the running up the stairs, y'all. My lungs cannot take the running up the stairs. So I go running up the stairs, and I'm like, what the f is that? So I go run up the stairs. I get to Orion's room. Mr. Coffee's like, I don't know what okay. And I was like, what? Orion's standing in the dark by the window. He's looking at the window. He goes, it's cold in here. And I was like, At this point, my whole brain was like, throw the whole damn kid out. Throw the whole damn kid out. Why are you... What? Mr. Coffee said he came upstairs, and Orion was just standing by his window, looking out the window. And I was like, what? He goes, he literally was just standing there. And I'm like, doing what? He goes, standing there. He wasn't doing anything. He was just standing there. And he goes, his eyes look all glazed over. And I'm like, okay. And so I look at Orion, and I'm like, are you okay, dude? And he goes, I'm cold. It's at this point I start hearing the horror music in my head. Do 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 do. And I'm like, throw the whole damn kid out. No, I was about to close the door, but he started walking slowly towards me. And I'm not gonna lie, for about 3.25 seconds, I was a little afraid because I'm like, why is he walking and looking at me like that? He comes up to me and gives me a hug. He goes, it's cold in my room. I'm like, why are you wearing your jacket? He goes, I have to go walk the dogs. Now take it, y'all. After my stream on Saturday or on Fridays, at this point, it's 12:30 at night. Okay, it's 12:30 a.m. Maggie has been asleep for hours. Okay, it's 12:30. And he's like, I have to go walk the dogs. What? Now take it. My dogs go out 3 to 4 times a day, depending. First thing in the morning when you wake up, 4 o'clock, 7:30 to 8 o'clock. And then they don't go out for the rest of the day. Like, they're in the house the rest of the time. This kid was like, I gotta go walk the dogs. Excuse me? What? Meanwhile, the dogs were looking hella confused, like, wait, what? Because, of course, Daisy heard the noise, too, and so did Killian. Killian stayed at the bottom of the stairs. Daisy came to the top of the stairs and stood by Maggie's room, which is their normal protocol. If they feel like there's some kind of danger, they will protect the front door and Maggie's room. I don't know why they don't go to anybody else's room. They sleep in my room. But if there was any sign of danger, Daisy's first response is to go to Maggie. And I'm okay with that because she's the smallest of all of them, or of all of us in the house. So, of course, you're going to want to protect the smallest little tiny human in the house. So, I'm sitting there and I'm like, Orion, dude, it's 12:30. And he's like, in the afternoon? In the afternoon? And I was like, look at my finger. Follow my finger. So I have him follow my finger because his eyes are all glazed over. And I'm like, I look at Mr. Coffee. I'm like, is this motherfucker on drugs? And he goes, I don't know what's wrong with him. I'm like, I think this motherfucker on drugs. And he goes, I'm real tired. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, is dinner ready yet? Of course. Dinner was ready hours ago, sir. You're just, I don't know. And he goes, well, I just woke up. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. He just woke up. So apparently what happened was he had been asleep literally all day. He woke up at 12:30 and went to go try to close his window because he heard whistling coming from his window. And sometimes Orion will like to sleep with the window open because he's a nightmare human. And so he went to go close the window, but he put his jacket on because he was cold. Okay? So when we go up there, Mr. Coffee, the banging I heard was Mr. Coffee slamming his window shut, because it seems to be the only way we can get them to close properly is if we slam it shut. So he was slamming it shut so he could close it properly. And Mr. Coffee was like, yeah, that banging you heard was me trying to close the window. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, sir, if you want to get food, you can come downstairs. And he comes over and he gives me a hug. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, And I look at Mr. Coffee. And Mr. Coffee like shrugs at me. And I'm like, okay, dude, go get some food. Y'all, when I tell you this child ate a half a box of Frosted Flakes, 2 slices of pizza, and the Angry Mac that I made for dinner. And then goes, I'm tired again. Can I go back to sleep? Yeah, dude. Yeah, you can go back to sleep. Okay. Mom? I'm like, yeah, dude. Got you. And he just walks away. And I'm like, what the just happened in my house? Y'all, the way this kid has me scared out of my mind. He goes back upstairs. He comes back a few minutes later. Perfectly normal. Hey, guys, question. And then he asked Mr. Coffee something. I don't remember what it was. And Mr. Coffee just kind of looked at me. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I just whispered to him, like, what the fuck is happening? And he's like, oh, okay, I know what he asked. He asked, could he stay up? Because he wasn't tired anymore. He goes, I'm not really that tired anymore. You know, can I stay up? And Mr. Coffee's like, well, yeah, if you want to. Now, remember, Orion's always been a super duper sleepy kid. Like, always. So, he sleeps a lot now. He does sleep a lot now. So, I should have, like, I don't know why my brain immediately goes to drugs. I've watched too much TV. It has tainted the way I think, I guess. And any teenager that acts suspicious is on drugs. So I was like, you good? You okay? Are you on drugs? And he's like, Mom, I don't even know how to get drugs. You and me both, buddy. And he's like, what? Nothing, don't worry about it. So Orion's fine. Orion's fine. He did scare the crap out of us. And I let him stay up. And I was like, let's see how long you can stay up, Phil. You just go to sleep whenever you feel like it. He comes back. He comes to me at 5 a.m. And I'm asleep. Okay? It's 5 a.m. I'm asleep. He goes, I'm going to bed. He's leaning. Okay. Let me set the scene for you. I'm in my room. It's dark. All I see is this giant afro coming towards me. I'm going to bed. Excuse me, sir. Sir, this is not necessary. The way I about pissed, okay? I about pissed myself because he scared the ever-living crap out of me. And I'm like, what the hell? Okay. And he's like, night, Mom. And I was like, night, dude. He goes to leave. And remember, the way my room is set up, there's a wall that jets out after you open the door. So you got to walk past the bathroom and that wall to come into the main area of the bedroom. He walks past that area, and I can see him walk past because the light's outside of my window. And he comes back like 2 seconds later, and he's like, Mom? I'm like, yeah, dude. He's like, got you. Night. And I'm like, this son of a... Oh! Now, if you're wondering what this is, it's a game that kids play. I used to play this game when I was a kid. You try to get somebody to look at it, and it doesn't mean anything, but it's just a funny game that kids play. Is this one, or what is it? This one, and it used to be this one. Like, I used to play that with my brother all the time. And so now he does it, and I don't know why he's doing it. He's just doing it. And he'll just pick random times to do it, and I'm just like, oh my God, this kid. So, Orion's okay. He woke up the next morning. Like, now remember, he ate at like, what was it, 12:45-ish? He woke up the next morning at like 10 o'clock in the morning, got up, walked the dogs, went back to go lay back down, got back up at noon, and then got like lunch, and he ate a half a pizza. Yep. What's happening to my kid? I'm afraid. I'm afraid if someone could help me with this. Is this normal behavior for children? Nobody told me about the nightmare stage. I am ill prepared for the nightmare stage of teenage years. I don't remember being a nightmare human when I was a teenager. So if somebody could help inform me about this, I would greatly appreciate. Did your teen do anything weird or that scared you or made you think that something was wrong with them when they were turning into teenagers? Because Orion technically right now is not even a teenager. He's 12. He turns 13 next month. And I was just like, okay. I have nothing. I have nothing. I'm used to my kids being small and doing like cute, adorable things, not creepy like, hey, I'm going to steal your soul after you fall asleep things. So if y'all could make sure to like, you know, comment on this part of the video and let me know that this is normal and I don't have to have an exorcism in my house, that would be great. That would be wonderful. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. So the last thing before I go, buses. So I told you guys, I think I told you guys last week that the kids had been signed up to ride the bus. And the lady said that it would be a week before I would hear anything. Well, she lied. I heard something like the very next day. I had their schedule and what bus they rode, what time the bus will get to the bus stop, and then what time they should be arriving at school. So in case they need to eat breakfast like they did this morning before they get on the bus, in case the bus is going to be late. So, yeah. So I heard back from the bus people, and they were like, you know, your children are already on a route that comes right past your house. And I'm like, literally, the bus comes direct, like it has to stop to turn down the street by my house. Like there's a road right next to the side of the house, and the bus turns there. So I'm like, so y'all can pick them up right in front of the house and I don't have to walk, or they don't have to walk a half a mile down the street to get on the bus. That'd be wonderful. So, sorry, I'm trying to look for that number I just had. Where's number 9? Oh, number 15. I have a random drill over here. But, yeah, so, we got the call back that the kids were going to get put onto this bus. The bus comes right in front of the house, but they do have a bus stop because there are other children who get on the bus around the cul-de-sac, and they all get on at this one area. So they can't just make a special stop for the kids. Even though, again, they're not passing by the rest of the cul-de-sac. They're only coming down the street and then turning down the road by my house. They won't make a special stop for the kids, which is fine. I'm okay with it. They can walk. They have legs for a reason. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. So they give me the link to this app. We have an app. All I can think of when I got it was, where was this crap when I was a kid? One, technology really like this didn't exist. Like we had dial-up and free nights and weekends. This was way beyond our years. So they give me this app and they're like, your children's schedule and everything will be on this app. And this map tells us where the stops are, where the bus is. Like you can literally see the bus moving on the app. And it tells you how many more minutes before the bus is near your house. Once the bus gets close to your house, the app will make your phone vibrate. It doesn't ring, it vibrates, which I thought was very thoughtful. That the app has no sound, but it will vibrate your phone to send out a notification to let you know that the bus is close. I thought that was the coolest freaking thing I had ever seen. And I was like, oh my God, this is so inconvenient. So the kids rode the bus this morning for the very first time, and it felt like, for those who don't know and you're new here, my kids, when we moved to North Dakota, they stopped riding the bus. My kids have rode the bus before when we lived in PA, but then they stopped riding the bus when we moved here because the only busing system that they had available, you had to pay for, and it was an outrageous price that we couldn't afford, and so my kids were driven to school every day for 5 years by me. Literally, we bought my car for that reason and everything else. And so, well, besides, you know, my appointments and the dog's appointments, we need a vehicle big enough to fit 2 giant dogs in. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so the kids are going to be riding the bus. The kids are super excited. They're over the moon. They're just like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Blah, 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 blah. And so then I look at the app. I have Orion download the app so that he has it on his phone as well, so that he knows when the bus is coming and, you know, whatever. And I'm sitting there, and they give us the route information, but they give us a weird address to meet them for the bus. And I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. What? What? So, hold on, I'm trying to find the letter. Okay, it's number 2. So I'm sitting there and I see the thing, and it's telling us the address. Okay. But to me, the address doesn't exist. Okay. I'm like, there's no building with that address by our house. And Mr. Coffee's like, he has more knowledge of the area. So I was like, hey, hun, look at this. Do you know this address? The address it's not far, wherever it is. It's like a block maybe, if that. And I'm like, does this look familiar to you? Like, do you have any clue what this is? And he's like, 31. He goes, no, that doesn't exist. And I'm like, yeah, but the map also has a compass on it. And so you calibrate your phone to this compass and it shows your exact spot on the map. And then it tells you where the bus stop is. And when you move, the little notch on there moves with you. So if I were to walk to the bus stop, it would show me walking to the bus stop. So I thought, again, hella cool. Awesome. Where was this when I was a kid? Wouldn't have missed the bus so much. So I was like, awesome. Cool. We got this. We'll figure it out. Now, did I have all weekend to go try to figure out where this stop was? Yes. Did I? No. So then this morning I get the kids up. Now, the kids, before they started riding the bus, the kids were getting up at 6:45, and then we'd be out of the house by 7:15. Now they're getting up at 6 a.m. and out of the house by 6:45. Because the bus, or we get out of the house by 6:40, and then we sit in the car for a few minutes because it's cold outside. And we let a couple of the other kids that were standing outside sit in the car with us so that they weren't freezing to death waiting on the bus. Because the bus was late this morning. So I don't even know how long those kids were standing out there. I was just like, hey, we are catching the bus too. Did you guys want to sit in the car and get warm? So we had about 4 extra kids in the car with us while we're waiting on the bus. So the kids are making friends with these other kids because, you know, why not? They're going to be on the same bus. So they're all talking, and I'm like, okay, is this you guys' bus? And the kids that, you know, I guess had ridden the bus before was like, this is our bus. And I was like, okay. And we looked at the map, and sure enough, it showed the bus pulling up right in front of us. And I was like, okay, this is absolutely the coolest thing ever. It tells you the exact time. It tells you the exact spot. It tells you that your child is attended, like, they take attendance as they get on the bus. So there's like this, like, screen on the bus, and they find their name, tap it, and that gives the attendance and lets the bus driver and the parent know that your child has arrived on the bus. Okay, so we're like, okay, so now we know when the kids get on the bus exactly. And Mr. Coffee's like, well, aren't you taking them to the bus stop? So like, wouldn't they know? I'm like, but yeah, but when it gets warmer, they're not going to want to drive to the bus stop. We can probably walk up there, but they're not going to want to drive to the bus stop. So, like, I have something else that lets me know that they made it to the bus stop okay. And he's like, okay. So, it took attendance of them getting on the bus, and they got on the bus, and I saw one of Maggie's little friends, like, flailing her arms around because she was so excited that little Maggie got on the bus with her. Orion found one of his friends from his school on the bus, and I told him, you know, hey, text me, let me know everything's okay. He texted me when he got to school. He goes, that was so much fun. I like riding the bus. And I was like, okay. It felt like them going back to school again for the first time. Like, I was really sad this morning about putting them on the bus. Especially with the fact that the bus was a little bit later this morning because of the inclement weather. Today that I'm recording this is Martin Luther King Day. And so I was a little weary letting them on the bus because of all the ice and stuff. But I'm also learning to stop being such a helicopter parent and let the kids be kids. Like, they can't stay underneath me for their entire life. I mean, I could, but I'd stunt their mental and social, emotional, developmental growth. And I don't want to do that. So I'm learning to kind of let go and let them do some of the things that normal kids would do, like ride the bus. We're also going to be signing Orion up, and he doesn't realize it yet because I'm slowly buying the stuff without him knowing. We're buying the stuff for Orion to start soccer in the spring. He's already signed up and everything, but it doesn't start until the springtime. So, because of course they're not going to be out there doing soccer in the freaking snow. So he has no idea that he's got signed up for soccer. And we might just put Maggie on the same league because she needs something that is going to be organized that she can do outside. That's not going to involve her getting lost and mommy having a heart attack trying to find her with her friends. So she might also get signed up. But I'm learning to kind of, you know, step back and let them grow and stop treating them and acting as if they're still babies, because they're not babies anymore. As much as it hurts my heart to see them growing up and being more and more independent, they need that to be able to make and live a normal life as, you know, humans in this world, because I feel like a lot of people nowadays have that stunted growth, that they were babied so much that they're used to getting, like, always having people there, and that's where that fear of being alone comes from, because they're always used to somebody being there. And I don't want the kids to have that. So learning to kind of loosen the reins a little bit and not be so fearful to let them out and about is kind of one of the things I want to work on this year. So riding the bus was the first step, and it might sound stupid to some, but I am very, very protective of my kids. And for me, this was a big step. And to say that I didn't want to cry this morning would be an understatement. I got back home and Mr. Coffee was getting ready for work, and he goes, "How did it go?" Because he watched from the window, because he doesn't get up until 7. So he watched from the window, you know, that, and to make sure I got back home okay, because again, our complex is nothing but a sheet of ice right now. And I was like, it went good. They found their friends. They're happy. And I just kind of face planted on the bed, and he's like, "Here we go." And I'm like, "My baby! Oh my God, my baby!" Again, y'all don't understand. I am super protective of my kids, and where I'm happy that they're riding the bus, and that means I don't have to take them anymore, or like have to center my whole day around getting them on and off the bus, or on and from it to and from school, I should say. It also makes me sad because I've been their bus for the last 5 years, and now I'm no longer their bus. Now they have an actual bus, and they're pretty excited about it. And the bus will be dropping them off in the exact same location that it picked them up from. And the app will alert me when it's leaving the school, and it will make sure that it has both kids checked in to make sure that both kids did get on the bus. So I like that. And then it tells me the stops that it makes. So it shows, again, it shows all the bus stops on the app. And then it tells you where the bus is and how much longer you have until the bus gets to your area. So I really like this new little piece of technology, and being able, I feel a lot better knowing exactly where the kids are on the bus. And that's in case of an accident as well. If you need to go pick up your kid from a certain bus stop because the bus broke down or something like that, you at least have an exact coordinate, and all you have to do is tap on where the bus is at, and it'll give you directions from where you're currently at to the bus location, so that you can come grab your kid if you need to. And so I like the fact that they do that for the parents, and that means a lot. So the kids are officially now riding the bus. And then I realized today that today's my day off, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do all day? What am I supposed to do all day? And I was like, oh, maybe I could record my Wip Chat. Maybe I can record my Wip Chat, because I don't have anything else to do today. I have some art that I need to get done. So I thought about doing that, but I also wanted to get some of this done. So I figured I'd sit here and chit chat with you guys and get this done. Because again, I want to see it finished, and I don't want it to take forever in a day. So why not, you know, do it when I can? So I think right now the direction that I'm looking to go towards is we're probably going to have a couple more Wip Chats versus unboxings. That's the direction I want to go in. I have declined sneak peeks from Diamond Art Club from here on out until further notice. or pretty much I declined the last week of the month. And then I'm going to take maybe a week or two off in February as well. Just to kind of get my bearings with things and try to get some stuff organized. I'm going to take a break from all the unboxings so I can do other things. And with the kids being in school, I'll have plenty of time because now the kids get on the bus at 6:45 in the morning and then they get off the bus at 3:45 in the afternoon, which is a little bit later than they're used to being home, but they'll still be home in plenty of time to do some stuff that they want to do before dinner and stuff. So that leaves me the entire day now to be able to do the things that I want to do. Because before I would leave here about an hour early to go get a good stop at the, or a good spot at the school to pick up the kids. And then I'd sit and wait for them to get out of school, and I'd sit in the car and like I'd vlog, or I'd do some kind of like, I'd do some cross stitching, or I would I can't diamond paint in the car. I don't know how people do it. I'm not that into diamond painting that I need to diamond paint in the car. But I would do some art, or I would cross stitch or something that was easy for me to do. I would crochet sometimes. Stuff that's easy for me to do in the car I would do while I waited. And now I have from 6:45 in the morning until 3:45 in the afternoon to do all the stuff that I want to do before the kids get home. So I have a little bit more time on my hands. And so I decided today was going to be a day off. So I'm not going to do too much today besides this video. And then tomorrow I'm going to stream over on Twitch tomorrow morning. It's one of my followers' birthdays, Spins. Spins also has a YouTube channel here. I think it's called Spins as well, or something like that. I'll have to find it or something. But they have a birthday tomorrow, and usually if my followers ask for me to stream on their birthdays, I usually will if I can. And I don't have really much of anything going on. I just needed to make this video and get it up. And if I can get this video up to you guys over on Patreon first, of course, because Patreons get videos first ad-free, and then before they go up on the channel. So I have to get this video up to Patreons, and then as long as I can get this video up to Patreons, I shouldn't have a problem streaming tomorrow. And then we'll probably come back Wednesday, maybe? I might come back Wednesday for a short whip and chat, because Thursday and Friday are already taken up with videos. It might get like a short whip and chat on like Saturday or something. But there's going to be a lot more chit-chatting on the channel while I get some of these projects done. And then I want to get back into my crochet tutorials. I need to start revising them. I've started like listing the ones I want to start with. Like somebody asked me for the waffle stitch. Now I just did a recap. Plus I want to have my nails on because I got someone who commented that they don't know how I do anything with the talons. And I don't like it when people have nasty things to say about when I wear nails. And I took a break from wearing nails. One, to get my nails some time to breathe. And my daughter did my nails. And so she wanted me to show everybody her nail doing skills. Or her nail painting skills. And two, I just wanted to let my nails breathe for a while. I wear nails all the time. So having that time to let them breathe is nice. So my new nails will get put on. And for next week we are going to be doing some crochet tutorials and stuff. I'm hoping to be able to get up how to diamond paint. I need to revise that video. Okay, tell me what you think. If you've gotten this far in the video, tell me what you think. All right. I already have up videos from a few years ago of how to diamond paint and all the other stuff. It's the first video you see when you come onto the channel. Are you okay with me revising it? Because I feel like I don't like having two of the same video on my channel, but also that video is 5 years old. I feel like I don't want to delete it, but I also feel it's kind of weird to have, like, an update, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But just tell me what you think down in the comment section. It helps me make up my mind. But with that said, you guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed the whip and chat. I hope you got a lot of work done on your projects. I'm probably going to finish filling in the mouth area, so I have these two sections complete. And then I'll work on the other section probably later on, or maybe when we do the second Whip and Chat. It just depends. If I'm able to do a second Whip and Chat, I'm not gonna don't hold me to that, because if I don't do it, I don't want you to be disappointed. But you can always catch me over on Twitch, where we go live 4 to 5 times a week. It's Caffeinated Doodler over on Twitch. I'm not Miss Coffee on Twitch. People do still use me. People still do call me Miss Coffee on Twitch. Don't worry. So if you come over, you can still call me Miss Coffee. But I go live 4 to 5 days a week on Twitch. It's usually like Wednesday through Saturday. We do all kinds of community things. We play games. We do art. We do some crafting. Crafting is going to probably take a little bit of a wayside so I can get some more art done, because I'm not getting as much art done as I would like to get done. So I need to get some more art done. Plus, with release papers and everything else, yeah, I need to get back on my grind. So if you'd like to catch some more of Miss Coffee and these coffee house stories, you can catch me over on Twitch. And so, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me ramble there about the whole, like, Twitch, YouTube, diamond painting thing. I just wanted to put my feelings out on the table so nobody was like, you know, what's going on with Miss Coffee lately? That's what's going on with Miss Coffee. So, I'm sure you guys understand. And for those who don't, you probably don't matter anyways. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you stay safe and warm inside of your homes if you can stay home. If you can't stay home, please be safe on those roads, because it is very dangerous out there, especially if you're getting snow and ice. But with that said, I must now bid you adieu. But not before reminding you that it's hard out here in these crafty streets. Please stay safe, and always remember to be kind to others, because you never know what somebody else is going through. Be courteous, because it's the right thing to do, and always stay cool. And whether I see you in YouTube land or I see you on Twitch, either way, I'll see you when I see you. Bye, guys.